Okay, so it's time that we wake up and we smell the roses. What we thought the Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes might be in the year of 2023, it doesn't look like it's going to shape up. But here's the deal. Although they might not have the season that some of us expected them to go out there and have, for Coach Prime to have this team at a 400% increase to where they were last year in terms of their win total, you look at it and go, that was a one-win team last year. And this Colorado team this year, whether they win 5, 6, or 7 games, it's got to be a success in what Coach Prime has been able to do with turning over, I think it was 83 scholarship players. So today we got to talk about not only this Colorado and UCLA game that's coming up, but we got to talk about and be brutally honest about the remaining season that's left for Coach Prime and these Buffaloes. It's been magical up to this point, but I think it's time for college football and Colorado fans to wake up and say, hey, this team, this is what they are. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure you do it. Hit the like, hit that subscribe button, jump down in the comments below. Let me hear y'all's thoughts. Let's go ahead and let's dive into it. The Colorado Buffaloes, they're going to play UCLA on Saturday. A lot of you guys will be watching this on Saturday. I'm recording this on Friday night. And when you look at what the ESPN analytics show for UCLA, 84.2% chance for the Bruins to beat Coach Prime, Shedeur Sanders, maybe Travis Hunter. The Colorado Buffaloes are coming off of a bye week. They're going to be really rested. They're going to be hopefully healthier than they've been over these past couple of weeks. But the game still doesn't favor Colorado. Now, this is going to be a 6:30 kick, so 4:30 in California on ABC. So Coach Prime is getting prime time. Beautiful weather for a kickoff, by the way. 76 degrees. Playing at the Rose Bowl, where they hold 88,565 people. And you would imagine this might be one of the fuller games for UCLA in that stadium because Coach Prime is going to be there, and a lot of people want to see this Colorado team. And this might be one of the bigger stadiums that Colorado is going to play in all season. So you look at this game and you look at the matchup. And although we don't know what that quarterback situation is going to look like for UCLA, I think Dante Moore gets the start, but we've heard that maybe he wasn't as healthy as they wanted him to be coming into this game. You still give the quarterback advantage to Colorado. Shedeur Sanders, 21 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 2,420 yards on 219 completions on 303 attempts. Shedeur Sanders, listen, if this wasn't a 4-3 team, if this was a 5-2 Colorado team, maybe a 6-1 Colorado team, we're talking about Shedeur Sanders leading for the Heisman. That's how good Shedeur Sanders is. And don't get me wrong, Coach Prime is box office, but his son, Shedeur, yeah, he's box office as well. And he's going to get people through the turnstiles. Now, you look at it, the rushing game for Colorado, we've previewed quite a bit of games and we've recapped a lot of games for Colorado. This has been the problem. This has been the area where we needed to see the Colorado Buffaloes improve. And listen, at this point, I'm not going to say that Colorado is going to get right in the running game at this point. They're bad in the running game. And a lot of it's because their offensive line is hot garbage. So I'm not going to sit here and go out on a whim and say, hey, the Colorado Buffaloes, they're going to get right in the run game. Now, the wide receivers for Colorado, they're just as elite as we've talked about with the quarterback position. Shedeur Sanders has himself weapons, which I think a lot of people were looking at it at the beginning of the season and called me crazy and called other people crazy. But listen, when you have Xavier Weaver and Jimmy Horn Jr. coming from South Florida, and they were ball players out there, and they're ball players for Shedeur, what else did you expect? And then not to mention, you got Travis Hunter playing both defense and offense, playing the wide receiver position. Shedeur Sanders has weapons, and he's got elite weapons. So The passing game, you got to give the advantage to Colorado. Running game for UCLA. And if it just came down to the offensive side of the ball, I would say Colorado wins this game 9 times out of 10. But the problem is defense. Colorado is giving up more yards on defense than they are getting on offense. Colorado is averaging 432.4 yards a game. They're giving up 473.7 yards a game. If Colorado gets bowl eligible with this kind of defense, and their defense gives up more yards than the offense gets in a game, like, this is going to be impressive. UCLA, on the other hand, they have themselves a decent defense. And although I don't think they're going to be able to slow down Colorado's offense enough to keep Colorado out of the maybe high 30s to low 40s in the scoreboard total, UCLA's offense is averaging 464.4 yards a game, and they're pretty balanced through the air and on the ground. The question you have for Colorado to be able to complete an upset on the number 23 Bruins is, can they get Dante Moore to be able to turn over the ball? Remember, Dante Moore is a true freshman for UCLA, 5-star quarterback out of this 2023 cycle. And for Dante Moore to be able to get this job and to be able to get this experience, I'm excited to see what UCLA is going to be over the coming years. But 10 touchdowns to 7 interceptions, that's not good. And at one point, he threw 3 picks, 2 straight games in a row. So Dante Moore is turnover prone, and with a Colorado secondary of Shedeur Sanders, Shiloh Sanders, you have Miles Slusher. You have guys like that back there who can cause havoc, maybe give a true freshman looks that he hasn't seen this season. They're going to create turnovers. And if Colorado walks out of this game with 2 or 3 interceptions, we might be talking about Colorado winning the game. Now, UCLA's favored by 15. So 3 scores here, maybe 2 scores if you count the 2-point conversions, but we'll say 3 for the sake of argument, because I don't think UCLA is going to go for a 2-point conversion in there to get to the 15-point spread. I think in anything, they'll probably go for 2 touchdowns and a field goal at some point. But I look at it and I say, this might be too much for Colorado to handle. This might be too much for Coach Prime's Colorado Buffaloes. And unfortunately, as much as I think a lot of us would like to see them win this game, I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't think Colorado can come out on top. Now, I'm predicting it's going to be a 42-35 game. It's going to be close. I don't think UCLA covers. But at the same time, I don't think Colorado's defense is good enough to get a stop. And if UCLA is able to figure out how to shut down Shedeur Sanders, Colorado's going to have a hard time scoring the ball, just like they did against Oregon. Now, we got to talk about the brutal honesty about the Colorado Buffaloes. And a lot of people might not like this, because I look at the Colorado Buffaloes schedule here in 2023. And guys, they had a magical start to the season. I don't think there is any denial what Coach Prime did with this Buffs team, going 3-0 and then winning 2 or losing 2 games, but then winning a game against Arizona State to be 4-2. Nobody that was at least up at the top in content creation talking about college football had this viewpoint for Colorado, or at least that I heard. If you guys heard somebody different, you can correct me down in the comments. But I mean, Colorado is some stops away where they were up, 29-0 against Stanford? Right now of being 5-2. We could be talking about a Colorado team that is nationally ranked and a Colorado team that is going to cause havoc across college football and might make a good bowl game. But now we're in a position where we're looking at this Colorado team and saying, will they get to a bowl game? Will they even win another game this season? UCLA, just told you guys, that's going to be tough. You're on the road. You get Oregon State next week, number 11 Oregon State, at 9 o'clock on ESPN at home. But Do y'all know what Oregon State's about? They're 6-1, third in the Pac-12. Colorado's about this, or Oregon State's about this business. They got a former quarterback and former 5-star quarterback in DJ Uiagalelei, who has 15 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, only 1,500 yards. But Oregon State's got a ground attack. Not to mention, Oregon State's got a defense too. I'm not convinced Colorado is going to be able to stop Oregon State. And earlier in the season, when we were previewing the season for Colorado, I looked at Arizona and I said, hey, Arizona's going to be a win. Arizona looks bad. Well, Arizona started out 3-1, lost to Mississippi State by 1 score. They were close to being 4-0. Guys, you realize that Arizona could be 7-0 right now. 7-0. That's what they could be. All their losses by 1 score. 1 score. They're that close. They're that close. And USC was lucky to escape that game against Arizona, where they took USC to double overtime. Washington was lucky to escape Arizona, 31-24. I'm not sure Coach Prime's going to be able to beat Arizona, even though it's at home. Now, you got to end the season going to Washington State, and you got to play Cam Ward. Dude might be a Heisman candidate. Not to mention, at Utah, that's going to be a tough defense to score on. So, the brutal honesty here is, hey, Colorado might be going 4-7. They're not going to be exactly what we thought they were. And unfortunately, they might not get the wins to make a bowl game. But you look at what Coach Prime's done in year 1 with this team, taking like 83 new players through the transfer portal and the recruiting class, giving these guys an opportunity to fight and play on the field for something. It's going to have ramifications on the recruiting trail going forward. And you would imagine coming into 2024, going to the Big 12, with some of these guys returning, Coach Prime, Sean Lewis, they're going to get an opportunity to make this offensive line a little bit better. There's already guys like Keyshawn Blackstock in the transfer portal from Michigan State. Guys, Keyshawn Blackstock is a great offensive lineman, and he would be great at Colorado. So, although it might not be what you want to hear this year, Colorado might not be it. But Colorado's got a bright future. So, guys, I want to hear from you, and I want to hear what y'all's thoughts are. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and jump down in the comments below and let me know what y'all's thoughts are.